Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call hello, Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Shem Rakahakodash. Once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and therefore deserve double honors. I just send salutations also to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and the byways, pushing the truth across four corners of this earth. All right, and hey, keeping it spiritual is working, as this, well, hopefully this video is going to demonstrate. This is what the apostles have always tried to convey and push. Keep this spiritual. They are, and yes, I'm 5 days, late coming with this, but this is one of the first, or not first, but one of the best descriptions and breakdowns of, I mean, it was ingenious what he did. It really was. Kendrick Lamar, I mean, these Edomites are shook. How dare, the timing, the venue, of course, and with the president there. Hey, everything aligned up just right. All right, and you'll be surprised, I think, of the comments that I'm going to share with you, and more importantly, who they are from. All right, so let's get to it. It says halftime's layered meanings. All right. And hey, Samuel L. Jackson, no matter what you think of him, hey, that was another genius pick, because he's at the stage now like, what the fuck, I done made my money, got my whatever, fuck it, But again, don't be caught up in celebrity. That's another thing I want to stress here. All right, because we're not pushing this, celebrity crap. My thing is him being or telling, they got this big pushing out DEI, which, let's face it, didn't benefit us. It benefited them, primarily the so-called white woman. Same with affirmative action, the white woman and the LGBTQ crowd, the Skittles Nation, So fuck it, do away with it. Who cares? It's gonna hurt them more than us. All these other minorities, so-called. All right, so fuck it. And the amazing thing about that, how did that just happen? That's another video, but all these people crying for us to come out and advocate for them. And as someone I was watching earlier made the point, all these years, all these decades that we tried to unite with all you other people, and you said, fuck you, we want to try to impress upon the so-called white man. You niggers need to get yourself together, work harder, quit being lazy. And we tried to tell you what was going to happen. Now that it's happening, we just sit back and, hey, good luck with that, But here's the video. Here we go. Let's get started.
We're going to go through this performance. We're going to talk about the symbolism, the message, the artistry, the deeper meanings. And my goal is by the end of this video, people will have a better understanding as to why this performance was so powerful. So let's just hop right in. So the first image we get here is the stadium lit up red, the whole entire thing, which this is a direct reference to the Drake and Kendrick beef. Because this right here, while Kendrick and Drake were in the beef, Drake posted this picture saying that he was about to press the red button, as in he was about to end things. And so Kendrick does this. He makes the stadium look like a red button, and he's saying, nah, like, this is it. This is game over, as we're about to see at the end of the show. I do want to make a note right now, though, that this whole entire performance was absolutely not just about Drake. Drake was actually a symbol he was utilizing to make a greater, larger point, which I'll get to what that is later. So this imagery right off the bat here, we get a PlayStation controller, and we get a game loading in the background. You see that loading bar up there. And for those that don't know, this is what a PlayStation controller looks like. Notice the triangle, the square, the circle, and the X, because that's what we get right here. Triangle, square, circle, and X.
It's your Uncle Sam, and this is the Great American Game.
Now, using Samuel Jackson to personify Uncle Sam is amazing. This is also a callback to Pimp a Butterfly. In To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick was using Uncle Sam in the intro to the album, which he uses as a gateway into talking about different concepts of America. In this Super Bowl, Kendrick is using Uncle Sam to narrate this game that Kendrick is playing in America as a black person. The reason him opening up with this song is so powerful is, one, the Super Bowl is typically where people perform their biggest songs, and Kendrick here is opening up with an unreleased song that he's been teasing. So as his fans, we're excited about it. But I do have to talk about the car that he's on, because it's not just a shout out to his newest album, GNX. GNX is his most recent album, and songs from this album are the majority of the set list that he did. But I want to talk about the car symbolism. So Kendrick posted this right here before his album even dropped, months before, and he was talking about the importance of what a GNX is to him. And essentially, it just means authenticity to him. It means one of one. And when it comes to his Super Bowl performance, that is the essence of the show, is him being authentic to himself and his upbringing and his culture.
Bodies, what they running by me if I got to clear out the room. But I get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of.
I like how he did this illusion where so many people popped out of the car, and it's because, you know, they were underneath the stage. You can see how it's feeding into the car right here. I thought that was cool. Now also notice the colors here, red, white, and blue. That's going to be important. The dancers that are in the different colors, the red, white, and blue, are always really separated from each other for the most part. But later on in the show, the colors that the dancers are wearing become a story in and of itself. After Kendrick is done with Squabble Up, Samuel Jackson pops back in.
Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up.
What's really funny about what Samuel Jackson said there is he's representing white America, and it's hilarious that a lot of the critique of the show is exactly what he just said right there. But a big theme of this performance is gaming. Okay, you have this rigged game that America is setting up for Kendrick to play as a black man. You got the actual video.
You got to understand, a lot of what everybody does, all right, is centered around these fucking Edomites, these so-called white people. You know, they've always got to be referenced or praised in some kind of manner. But this didn't do that. So it's why you got all these videos that motherfuckers had Jake and, you know, with bones in their nose, with clubs and shit, because that's how they understood. To them, that's what they saw, and they didn't get it. So they're mad.
Video game stage, and then through the narration of Samuel Jackson, he continues on with the video game theme. And in this moment, Samuel Jackson said, hey, like, calm all that down. You're doing the wrong thing here on this Super Bowl stage. Do something else. Play the game. And instead of taking Uncle Sam's advice, Kendrick goes into humble while standing in the middle of an American flag, symbolizing, hey, I'm not going to listen to what y'all want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. Now, with these dancers representing the American flag, we got a lot going on here that's going to start popping up as the narrative here. Yes, you have the red, white, and blue dancers forming the flag here. However, Kendrick Lamar is from Compton, and Kendrick has been very vocal about bringing the Bloods and the Crips together in unity amongst the gangs in LA. So here you have blue and red representing that as well. Earlier this year, he hosted an event called the Pop Out, where the point was to bring LA together for one night. And so yeah, that theme's continuing here in the Super Bowl as well.
Be humble.
Now, these people marching down the steps, I think resembles Tetris because of the shot that they're about to show. So you got the Tetris block there, and then also in Humble, the song he was just performing, he talks about Tetris in there as well. And it goes with the video game theme. It's hard to see, but up here where the lights are, now it says stage 1. And he's going into a song called DNA, which, you know, is the foundation of everything, stage 1. Now notice the guys on the street lamps up here. This is a callback to 2 different Kendrick Lamar moments. One, it reminds me of this image here from his music video All Right, but even more accurately, it reminds me of this. When he announced his label PG Lang, this was part of the commercial that he used to announce it. And PG Lang is heavily featured in the Super Bowl. I saw people running around with PG Lang flags, and then also the necklace that he's wearing is the PG Lang logo. So here, after he walked all the way down the field and was doing DNA, the crowd's now saying warning, wrong way. Now in the video game, you get that warning when you cross a boundary in the video game world, and it tells you to go back the other way. You're off the correct path. And if you keep going the wrong way in a video game like that, typically you die, which comes back later in this show as well. Also, he's about to perform a song called Euphoria, which was a song in the Drake beef. And so the idea of saying the wrong way, once again, is a direct reflection also of a Super Bowl set list. Like, this is not a song he should be performing at the Super Bowl. So he's playing the game wrong. So this moment comes back in a big way during Not Like Us. Notice how he's walking down the field, right? And then he's also referencing walking Drake down, as in whooping him. And then notice the poker face with him smiling. That's gonna come back in a major way during Not Like Us.
Dangerously, ain't no changing me, ain't no shaming me.
So that song he's performing is called Man at the Garden. Once again, another song he should not be performing at the Super Bowl, but it was really important for him to do this song. He said it's like the most important song on his album to him because it's a song about affirmation. It's a song about saying that he deserves it all the good things in his life. And I'll just let him explain why it's such a big deal to him.
You know, I've grew up with cats, still to this day can't have a conversation. The most meanest, aggressive individuals, but they can't even look you in the eye and express themselves the way they want to. So they resort to other things. And when I think about that, and I know that I have the tools necessary to communicate myself properly and effectively, I gotta do it for them. I gotta make records like Reincarnated. I gotta make records like Man in the Garden. I have to, because they feel that way, but they cannot project it.
And so that's why he put it on his set list.
The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper. Deduct 1 life.
Once again, we got that video game theme going. Take away a life, cheat code. And notice how after Samuel Jackson talks about a life going away, he's now performing in the X button because he did the wrong thing. He lost a life. Also, you'll notice that he's going from button to button, which is hilarious because he's pressing everyone's buttons. We're all familiar with that phrase.
Peekaboo. I just put the boogers in my chain.
He said peekaboo and popped out.
Ladies, I want to make a move. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love the suit. Yeah, that song. Maybe I think about it.
Oh, you done lost your damn mind.
And that is why I'm saying this performance is not centered around Drake. He's actually using Drake as a symbol for being a part of the rigged game that he faces as a black man in America. Because notice what he brings up is the lawsuit and this idea of corporate America, of the legal system being used against him to try to censor his artistry, is how Drake is being represented here as a part of something much greater. Because notice how Samuel Jackson also says you must have lost your mind. And remember, Samuel Jackson is a personification of America. And so the idea of him playing Not Like Us, even though he's being sued, and it's him going against the system, which is why Samuel Jackson said he must have lost his mind. Like, stay in your place, play the game. Now, this is a section where he's about to bring out SZA, and we get that symbolism here with the S, but also this is like Snake the video game. Now, what I think he's doing here, having everybody just walk around the circle continuously, this song that he's performing, All the Stars, was the main song for Black Panther. And I think this is kind of like a circle of life moment because of how Chadwick passed. And that may not be the correct interpretation of this at all. They could just be walking a circle, but it's just what I thought of when I watched it. Now, notice all the dancers still segregated, still separated. You'll also notice that Kendrick is in blue and SZA is in red. Once again, the unity between the colors.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't mess this
once again, it's just really ironic what Samuel Jackson is talking about, because it literally ended up being a lot of the critique of the show. And so,
as we all know, those colors hold other meanings too, all right? Because a lot of these celebrities and whatever have you are juiced in, all right? But again, hey, I can't imagine now that he did this. Sam Jackson, I can't imagine anybody else pulling this off.
Kendrick doing those mainstream songs, slowing it down, getting the singing in there, rather than just rapping, was what America wanted to see. He's like, all right, Kendrick, you're playing the game. And then he interrupts him with Not Like Us. But let's listen to what Kendrick says before he gets into Not Like Us.
It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the floor. 40 acres in a mule. This is bigger than a mule.
So that 40 acres in a mule reference is obviously a very popular term just in America. But
yeah, that's what I was going to get into when we began, because, you know, better to just let it play through, let it get to that point naturally. But yeah, critical race theory, huh? Okay. So, you know, he wants to, I'm talking about the president, wants to close the Department of Education. I mean, he's moving pretty fast here. They're trying to sweep everything up under the rug. I don't know if you saw that video of him in the Oval Office and Elon Musk and his son, like, I mean, wow, to be disrespected in your own office, wow, it lets you know who's really holds all the power here, but that's for another time. But back to this. This is why we tell you, like I said before, how about there's different ways to fight. All right, and as to the elder apostles talking about keeping it spiritual, that's what the scriptures say. All right, Zephaniah 3:8. Wait, let's get that real quick, because what I'm after this, I'm going to go into To Pimp a Butterfly. All right. Let's see. See, they have no. That's why they're going to be forced to enact a shutdown. Basically, all the media, if you want to be for real. And Amos 8, and well, we'll get that too. This is Zephaniah 3:8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me. This is a commandment, saith the Most High. That's Lord in all caps. That's Yahweh. Until the day that I rise up to the prey. Who will be the prey in that day? Our oppressor, the Edomite. This whole beast system which they run. He says, until the day I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms. Where he's going to do that? That's Joel 3rd chapter, right? To pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. The valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shabbat, judgment, all right? For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. See, and these things are happening now as we speak. These pieces are being put in place. They have been for a while. You know, Revelation 16th chapter, you know, with the kings of the east and all that are assembling. Yeah, all that's taking place now. All right. And more, this devil, since I mentioned Trump, is making all the right moves as far as pissing everybody off and making them hate the whore America. That's Revelation 17th chapter. All right, they shall hate the whore. You know, Canada, supposedly because of the shit he just pulled, supposedly they've joined the EU. So there's all kinds of stuff. We got people getting away from America and the petrodollar. And this whole thing is about to crash very, very soon here. All right. But as far as what this here is going into, this place for Jake is indeed hell. This is not, and never has it been, a place for us to prosper, to relax. This was a place of punishment. All right, that's why we hasten for the day that this place, let me get that since I got it in my head, to be destroyed. We want to get the fuck up out of here. This is Isaiah 51:14. It says, the captive exile, which we are, hasteneth, that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. And that links up with 2 Peter 3, all right, 10 and 11. All right, knowing that all this is going to be blown to smithereens, vaporized, what's supposed to be your mindset right here. All right, let's go back to the video. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Because why? Micah, oldie but goodie, what does it say? It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. And the reason I pointed, all right, get your mind out of Babylon and its ways. Not all of us have a passport and can up and or have the money or the means to go some other country. No. All right, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you. That's a guarantee. That's not a might or if. It said it shall, it will destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Yeah. Yeah.
A very popular term just in America, but also it's another shout out back to Pimp a Butterfly. That was a repeating theme on that album.
It's a cultural.
Let's check that out real quick. I already got that keyed up. Reload, reload, reload. The narrative. All right, let's go on down to it. What's To Pimp a Butterfly talking about? All right, from his Mad City. He says, like the album To Pimp a Butterfly, sees Kendrick go through another transition, but this time round it's a poem, or as he puts it at the end of Mortal Man, something you could probably relate to. And it's this that guides the narrative. The first few lines are a synopsis of To Pimp a Butterfly storyline, the sort of thing that would be the blurb on a book, or in this case, the most streamed record of all time. It says, I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power, full of resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me, so I went running for answers until I came home. Good Kid, Mad City Story used the myths of Compton to illustrate Kendrick's reflections on his environment and his subsequent resurrection from the streets. All right, that's not, how many Jake can you say that about? Going from a teenager, that is, as his mother puts it on the record's penultimate track, rose from that dark place of violence to come back a man. To Pimp a Butterfly is what happened after Kendrick became the self-confessed king of New York and returned home. The analogy offered up in the record's closing track, Mortal Man, is a caterpillar being imprisoned by its environment, cocooning itself in an internal struggle, being released as a butterfly with a new outlook. On To Pimp a Butterfly, we follow Kendrick through the poem, going through the confliction of his influence into the depression and near self-destruction, before returning to the setting of his previous records to be born again a new man. And aside from what a lot of Jake go through here on the streets, you have the added pressure of being in that industry and having all this other shit thrown at you. All right, that compounds it. It says, so with that in mind, let's strap in and start right at the beginning. It says, the caterpillar, Kendrick starts to become successful, but is also imprisoned by his environment, succumbing to being pimped. All right. The caterpillar is a prisoner to the streets that conceived it, Its only job is to eat or consume everything around it. Again, America is an open-air prison. It's designed to get and to keep Jake going off. Knowing who we are. Think about that. Think about chattel slavery from that. What will we do next? I know. How are we going to maintain cheap or free labor? Prison industrial complex. Okay. It seems like every time they throw shit at us, well, not seems, this is what happened, we would adjust. So they have to come up with something. See, what else can we do to these niggas? Then you had the Freeman Bureau, all that shit, and the promise of, like he was going into 40 acres and a mule. What happened? Lincoln gets assassinated. That racist-ass vice president, Andrew Johnson, he says, no, fuck that. So from then on, we get through the 1870s, you get Reconstruction. Then they pulled the troops back after that ended, so we got terrorized throughout. And then 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, and then Jim Crow, and from there, all the lynchings, and well, actually I started before then, but you know, we never got a chance to rest. This was a constant bombardment of bullshit. You know, every time we tried to settle, do for ourselves here, nothing but sabotage all the way. Again, so the caterpillar analogy runs in tandem with the poem that unfolds across the record, with the release of each line signaling a new chapter in the life of the caterpillar and To Pimp a Butterfly's narrative. We start at the beginning with Kendrick Lamar as a caterpillar who sees that the world praises the butterfly. And we see him subconsciously working out how to pimp his talent, his own benefits. So we're not only talking about one person, you can look at it as a people. All right? We start with Wesley's Theory, a track that takes place before the release of Good Kid in Section 80. Kendrick says when he gets signed, he's going to act a fool, buy a brand new caddy on fours, and take a few M16s to the hood. He's a prisoner to the streets, a caterpillar who consumes the product of his environment. The second verse plays up to that idea and reframes it from a different position. Lines like, what do you want? A house, a car? Come from the perspective of Uncle Sam, a character who represents capitalist America, describing how the caterpillar succumbs to American society's pimping of the butterfly. This outlook continues on the next track for free, with Kendrick using slavery as a way to suggest his choice is an illusion. He raps that he's picked cotton that made America rich, but his choice is devastated and has been decapitated. An idea that suggests the system in America only serves to pimp out blacks for their profit rather than offer them a choice. Yeah. At the beginning, Kendrick seems comfortable with being pimped out. On King Kunta, he says although he's a prisoner like Kunta Kinte, the 18th century plantation worker whose foot was cut off to prevent escape, he's also the motherfucking king. He talks about going from a peasant to a prince to someone who runs the game and has the whole world talking. But here, he's already displaying the negative attributes that come from pimping the caterpillar. King Kunta is a king, a wealthy black man, but he's also oppressed from society, but also by himself, by displaying elements of conceit and believing he's better than everyone else. He's shunting himself off from his full potential. How many times have you seen that with Jake? Doesn't even have to be a celebrity per se. But once that pride sets in, how many scriptures in the Bible tell you that? Pride goeth before destruction, right? All right. The cocoon. Kendrick shuts himself off and gets self-analytical. I mean, I'll post this for time's sake. You can read this part. In the meantime, we can go back to the video. For those of you that didn't know what it was about. All right. So let's see here.
It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the floor.
And that means a couple things. So in this imagery right here, we see the cultural divide in this imagery of the flag literally being separated and everyone turned away from each other. We also see it in all the dancers currently being segregated prior to this section of the song. And when he says the flow, he's talking about the literal Super Bowl floor, like he's showing that cultural divide, but also the flow as in he's bringing rap into the Super Bowl. And he knows there's a cultural divide on people wanting rap at the Super Bowl.
This is bigger than the music.
So here he's telling you, like, this show is not just about my set list here as far as my greatest hits. This show is about the message I'm putting on display here.
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
So here he's talking about that game that America has black people play. They try to take black culture, but they can't. You can't fake that influence. You can't rig it like that. The idea of rigging what he was supposed to be performing through the lawsuit, nah. Like this song I'm about to perform is influential. It brought everybody together. Now remember bringing that everybody together part. Remember when he was talking about walking down Drake with a poker face? Well, now he's literally walking down the field, walking Drake down. This is the first time in the whole show we see all the colors together, random, scattered, true diversity, true coming together, no more separation. The world came together to listen to this song Kendrick put out. The LA community came together at the pop out. This song brought people together. I think we all collectively went crazy when Kendrick did that and actually named Drake. Now, the context around this is Drake sued Kendrick Lamar, and people didn't know if this song was going to get performed at the Super Bowl because of that. And also just with the topic of the song and everything, people didn't know if, the NFL would even let him perform it. And so this moment right here where he just looks directly in the camera and smiles at him, there's that poker face. He walked him down, smiled at him right in the camera. Like, you can't stop me from doing what I want to do. But more importantly, he's not telling Drake that. He's telling America that. He's telling the system that. He's telling the legal system that. He's telling Uncle Sam that. Rebelling against the system. And he's winning. People were wondering why Serena Williams was up there crip walking. Well, Serena was raised in Compton, California, where Kendrick is from, and also Drake had been disrespecting Serena Williams, so it was a way to get her back on stage and kind of be petty, but also, once again, it's a shot at the system because Serena did this at one of her games before. When Serena Williams did that, it received so much backlash. So now, just like Kendrick saying, screw the system, so is Serena Williams.
Let me hear you say,
now this is a song called TV Off, right? And let's listen to something he said earlier in the show.
the revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. This is definitely a direct call out to where we are as a country. It's the right time for there to be a revolution. We're going through things, but
Yep. There's no healing of her bruise, as it says in Jeremiah. All right. There's so much division. Let's go there first. All right. Let's go to Mark 3. All right. 23. And he called them unto him, them being the disciples, and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, what kingdom? That kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. All right. So, yeah, this place was never supposed to be. This has been the bane, to use one of those fancy words, of our existence as it was supposed to, because, hey, we're the ones that turned our back on the Lord. Think about that. We were his, and we went out and committed all kinds of whoredoms, worshiping other gods. So, yeah. This is what we deserve. Actually, it says we deserved even worse. All right. But, we're not. And in fact, in Deuteronomy, let's see, is it 33? Toward the end, hold on. Because we're not, this is when we, I started 27. It says, "The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, Destroy them. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone." Another scripture that can't be them people over there. "The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine," which is not America or any place on this earth currently. "Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Most High Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of the excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee," and that indeed they are. All right. "And thou shalt tread upon their high places." More people coming out of the woodwork, knowing who we are, who we truly are. And they've always suspected. All right.
It's the right time for there to be a revolution. We're going through things, but you shouldn't have told Kendrick to do it, because he's going to be right in your face. I'm not going to hold anything back. And so when he performs TV off at the end, that's the full circle moment. The revolution's been televised on the TV, his performance. Now it's game over. Turn the TV off.
I was telling walking New Orleans with the etiquette of
Now notice right here, everyone's back to being segregated again. And what I think that is that, like I said, Kendrick was bringing everybody together. But the reality at the end of the day is we are separated. We are culturally divided. And so he ends the show that way.
Turn this TV off. Turn this.
And at the end, he says, game over. And to be honest, that has a lot of meanings. The beef is over with Drake. He won the game, even though it was rigged against him as a black American. And then also, obviously, he's at the Super Bowl and the game is over. And what's hilarious is the game actually really was over at halftime this year. The Eagles were whooping the Chiefs. And then also, obviously, like the very direct, like his stage was a video game and it's game over. And notice at the very end, Uncle Sam doesn't come back out. No need for Uncle Sam no more. And so, in short, this show was about blackness, the black experience of being a black American going up against this rigged system
Israel,
that we're a part of.
in America, more precisely. All right, but I said I was going to get some of these comments, and here we go. All right, first one says, KG1716. "I've seen so many reactions that just focus on Drake and miss all the messages. The beef left Drake so long ago. Kendrick is a genius and serious about his art, his craft. He puts so much thought into everything he does. Thank you for taking the time to break it down. There's an even deeper meaning to it all, but that's for another type of conversation," and they are so right. Like I said, that's what I've been, there's a spiritual component to this, of course. And, everybody's more people than you probably think. Even some of those that, by looking at them, you would not suspect, if you know where I'm going. Oh, talking about Serena, just 1 second here. Yeah, talking about Serena, I just had to pull this up real quick. She did the crip walk for, the hood and all that, and then she's right back to being a bed wench. Serena Williams crip walk for the culture, then went home to this guy. See, so, God dang. Woo! Oh, boy. Hey, can't make it up. It says Serena didn't just crip walk at one of her games. She crip walked at hallowed Wimbledon Center Court at the 2012 Summer Olympic Games, where she won the gold medal for America in her red, white, and blue, and received a lot of hate. Older Asian lady here. I've never heard of Kendrick Lamar and didn't watch Super Bowl, but had to find out more about him and the symbolism behind his performance. Thank you. I'm an old white woman raised in Appalachia without the knowledge and cultural experiences necessary to fully appreciate this show. But I knew I loved it, even without truly grasping all the behind the lyrics meaning. Thank you for your in-depth breakdown, providing another level of insight that I would have otherwise missed. Now I appreciate and love it even more. I agree, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance is a standout from all the rest. America, wake up and listen to this poet. If they are who they say they are. 60-year-old white woman here. This is the best insight video into Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance on YouTube. Thank you. Do sub. Also, at the end, when he says 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. This is what the now free slaves were promised in the South. And we're, okay, first of all, no. We would never were free. They were promised in the South after the Confederates lost the Civil War. They started it in Georgia, Atlanta. Also, it ultimately was a lie because they took it all back and gave it all back to the planters, all the colonizers. Plus, Drake did say Kendrick is always rapping like he's about to get the slaves freed. Well, he legit just said that the freedom and equality of so-called black Americans is more important than music with that line. Old white lady from the 70s here. The minute I heard the take on Gil Scott-Heron's lyric, "The revolution will not be televised," I knew this was going to be great. Thank you for your video. All right. My biggest disappointment has been people not recognizing the significance of Serena Williams crip walking at another sporting event and thinking she was there to be a shot at Drake. Let's see. 53-year-old white guy here. Didn't watch the game, but I would have had I known Kendrick was performing. Amazing breakdown of his historic performance. Thank you for the incredible insight. Absolutely love Kendrick. His authenticity, knowledge, and verbal punches to injustices in society and groups of people are unmatched. Fan for life. See, what you gotta understand, just like the slaves in Brazil, when they were forbidden to even to learn how to fight. So what did they do? They disguised it in dance, and that's where capoeira was born. All right, so Jake has a way of doing these things. All right, has a knack for it. That's a spirit. Let's see. I just realized in TV Off, all the dancers wearing black were all contained in the controller buttons, whilst all the other dancers were free to run around the center. The dancers in black also only appeared in the very end. Another 63-year-old white woman. Let's see. There was another one. Yeah. 50-year-old white Gen X girl from Virginia here. I didn't watch the Super Bowl due to working years in the sports retail industry and dislike sports. Now I no longer have to follow it. But I saw so many people on Facebook complaining about this halftime show. See, they complain because it wasn't for you. All right. So I can't understand why they're complaining other than being lost on the meaning. I saw some of the things he meant, but I missed a lot too. I really love Samuel Jackson as Uncle Sam. I just love him regardless. I knew it was a special performance and came to see someone break it down better for me, and you did not disappoint. All right. Canadian here. All right. From an artistic point of view, he mastered a new genre, rap opera. It was absolutely one of the most authentic pieces of art I have ever had the honor to watch. See that? Hey, it's that spiritual component to it. It's that, like I say, there's more than one way to fight. And you're seeing people come from Australia. Let's see. Yeah. So that's going to be about it for this. I'll post, the links to all this, and you can read them for yourself. But that's about it. Oh, that's what I was going to get. No matter, hey, we're at the end of this. And no matter how many assholes this guy brings in to try to fix everything, it's not going to work. All right. This is Jeremiah 50. Let's see. 51. This is what I was talking about earlier when I brought up Micah 2 and 10. But you need to, and this is what we're out here on the highways and byways for, is to tell our people, all right, whether they be so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, and those scattered abroad, wherever you are. That's the beauty of the internet, as you just saw. You got people, from everywhere. It says here, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. You got to remember, this wine, this doctrine, this philosophy has been spread throughout all the earth. All right, and that's another reason why people are sick of this place. All right, Revelation 17 I mentioned earlier. They're going to hate this whore. All right, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Most High Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And we're seeing it. It's unfolding right in front of us. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Most High's hand that made all the earth drunken. Drunken with what? Philosophies and doctrine. That's that wine. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. Isaiah 13 chapter, right? For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. See, these legal immigrants, I'll put it that way, as someone said, and they had it right. These people come over here with their sneakers still on, all right, because they see it for what it is. They make their little money, and their mind is on returning home. And as it gets more difficult here, in which it is very shortly here, going to get even more difficult. Hey, we gone. Got my shoes on. Fuck it, out of here. Let's see. Yeah, 9 again. We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Revelation 18th chapter, right? People have made so much money off of America, and subsequently off our backs, off of our blood, sweat, and tears. When this place goes, oh no, I can't make any money. Oh, they're going to be crying for us. All right. Yeah, this place is done. What more can I say? So with that, hey, until then, once again, I hope whoever views this is edified. Of course, that's what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter everything through the scriptures. All right, so with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.